Okay, doing another one. Um, I'm still dealing with health issues, but that's not what this video is about. Um, I wanted to make a video. I had a thought today. Um, Earlier, um, my mother was watching Rome, which is this HBO series that I really don't think much of. They have these people speaking in vaguely British accents, even though they're supposed to be Italian. I know that's what they do on these premium channels. They just, anytime they want to give it that air of, you know, sophistication, they have them speak in a British accent, even though it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Um, and it's, the same. It's the same BS. It's, just an excuse to show a lot of, sex and violence. Most of these shows on these premium channels, I think it's actually, is it Netflix? I think maybe Netflix does Rome. I'm not sure, or maybe it might be on one of the premium channels. I'd say the premium channels are a little more guilty of it than Netflix. Um, but uh, but yeah. Um, so yeah, it's another one of these shows, and I guess it's a good time period for that kind of trashy TV because obviously there was a lot of you know violence back then, and people were more barbaric, and I think it allows people to tap into their unadulterated id, which I'm never a fan of. When anything encourages you to tap into your id, um, anytime I tap into my id, I know I'm slumming it. But anyway, so yeah, I was watching that and looking at Cleopatra on there. And of course, they have Cleopatra play the stereotypical sultry seductress type who gets her way by sleeping with men, which is it's again it's a really cheap. I actually ended up reading a whole bunch about Cleopatra, and she was actually not as attractive as they always make her out to be. She had kind of a big nose, thin lips, um, but what made her attractive to the most powerful men at the time was her wit and ability to speak multiple languages and charm, and she's very well learned. She's also more Greek than she is Egyptian, if you don't know. Anyway, these are some quick facts on Cleopatra. But so after reading about Cleopatra, but I noticed in Cleopatra, the after I mean in reading about Cleopatra, I noticed all the um, it sort of went through the history of her and Caesar and Mark Antony and Octavius, who became Augustus. And there's just a lot of scheming going on, a lot of war, a lot of backstabbing and strategy and Machiavellian planning and things going on by all these royals, including Cleopatra. Um, and uh, and then later in the day, I watched Saving Private Ryan, and saw the it's not my. I think it's kind of a bit of a rah rah America movie in a way. It's not my favorite war movie. I think Platoon or Full Metal Jacket are the two best that I've seen. I've never seen Apocalypse Now. I got to see that one, but I think Platoon might be the best war movie I've ever seen. Although Full Metal Jacket's right there. It's pretty close. Um, but so yeah, I didn't like the kind of it's sort of a rah rah military movie in a way. It's a movie made for soldiers or for people who think like soldiers, or it's basically a movie for conservatives. I think more than anything. I mean, my grandfather fought in World War II. He was a radio operator on a bomber. So I always have I'm always willing to watch those movies because it's sort of part of my history, or my family's history, I should say, not my history. I certainly haven't been to World War II, um, but you see all the scenes of people dying and suffering and the shock and terror of war, and it made me realize that there is one sin above all that is the greatest sin that humanity has, and that's definitely vanity. Vanity is the worst sin, if you ask me. And here's why. If it wasn't for vanity, wars would not be fought, and thousands, millions of people, millions actually, maybe even who knows, probably billions by now, if you consider all the history of war. But you know, so many people have died. So many people have been pawns in the game of the elites, and the elites are the most vain of all. You know, they are the masters of vanity, and they're so vain and cunning that they will do anything that it takes to get their way and to be on top. And it doesn't even just go for wars. And it doesn't even go for people that are, just like it kind of goes for a lot of things. You look at the Capitol, storming the Capitol. That was all about vanity too. These people want to think they're tough. They want to think that that they can do whatever they want. They want to push people around. That's kind of Trump's way. The bully pulpit. A lot of people are really into the bully pulpit these days. They don't want to. They don't want to be weak. They want to be strong. They want to project strength. And so, a lot of this projecting strength is about, fuck the other guy before he fucks you. It's a part of my language, but that's the phrase. Um, and that's what leads to, violence in the home and violence in the schools. I mean, it leads to bullying. It leads to a lot of bad feelings. It leads to people trying to steal each other's girlfriends, or having affairs, or um, you know it leads to anger, jealousy, hatred, resentment. That whole mindset of I got to be the best, and it even goes for industry, civilization. Civilization is kind of like a giant vanity project for humanity. We're desperate to believe that we matter so much that we build this unsustainable system just to prop ourselves up for some period of time, so that and not even all of us, but most of us don't have a say in it. Most of us just are part of it whether we like it or not. But the elites, they're always out to make money. They're always out to puff themselves up. They're always out to improve their own image and make as much money as possible, so that they can have slaves. Or in the old days it was slaves, but now it's like employees. And they could be at the top of the pyramid, and they could be revered, and they could send people off to war, and they can make the lowly essential workers do all their work for them. And meanwhile they just keep wanting more and more. They're never satisfied. They keep wanting bigger pieces of the pie. Keep wanting to feel more and more superior, and they have to feel superior to each other too. And that's why there's this constant drive to be the best, the best, the best. If my friend has a 50-foot yacht, I got to get a 60-foot yacht. If he has a 60-foot yacht, I got to get a private jet. If he's got a Lear, I got to buy myself a 737. Something like that. I mean, it's just sickness, and I think it mostly comes from fear of death. I think nobody wants to believe, and fear of insignificance. Um, I think most of the time the people at the top are not. If they are religious, they think that God picked them personally. But I think a lot of times they're not. They just care about dominating on earth. And that's how we get ourselves into trouble. That's why humanity's greatest sin is definitely vanity, because it will be our undoing in the end. And I guess I'm making this video to say that, unfortunately, if you don't play into the game, then you live a sort of unremarkable life. No one will be impressed, and you may not have the same grandiose experiences as some other people. But I guess I'm just saying, try to be okay with that. And it's something I have to tell myself too, because it's not something that's easy for me. But I should keep telling myself that just being a nobody is not so bad. Appreciate the experience for what it is, and don't try to dominate people. Don't try to be the best. Don't try to rule the world. Don't try to get rich. I'm thinking about also my uncle does all these multi-level marketing schemes, and he's so they there's tons of people, just like these prosperity churches, tons of these people go to believe in this fantasy of riches and greatness and being on top. And I don't think it really makes people happy. For one, most people never get there, because these multi-level marketing schemes and these prosperity gospel churches are just peddling a lie to get more money. They both want money. And if you believe it, it's kind of sad. It's sad that you can't just be, satisfied with what you have in your life. And that's something that, I've had to deal. I've also had a hard time with. It's like I have those same desires to be the best. I'm gonna pretend baseball game where the computers simulate everything, and I always want to be the best. But it's on that level, it's kind of innocent, so it doesn't really matter. But I think you have to make a conscious effort not to want it all. Not to want to be on top all the time. It's a tough game, and you're bound to lose in the end, and you cause a lot of pain by you know by striving for the top. That's what they don't tell you with capitalism, all these commercials. It's like there are winners and there's losers, and sometimes the losers pay with their lives. Ask me if you're talking about wars. Just like Hitler. Hitler was another guy. The vanity of Hitler. He wanted to be, the guy. Wanted to rule the world. Wanted to kill the Jews because they had power and he didn't, and he wanted to show them who was powerful. Show them who's boss. The same kind of mentality. I should have said that earlier because now it's kind of off track. But basically, what I'm saying is, embrace mediocrity. I guess as much as you can. I'm trying to learn to do that. With the health problems I've been having, I've got a swelling or a lump of some sort on my abdomen, and they took an ultrasound and they couldn't see anything in that spot because of gas, which apparently is the second time they took an ultrasound because and couldn't see because of gas. I'm begging for a CT scan or an MRI scan because I feel like shit every night now, including right now. I feel crappy right now just sitting here talking to you, but all I had today was a bowl of raspberries, and I got sick from the bowl of raspberries, and now I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to try to eat something, but I know I'm just going to pay for it. So yeah, since I feel like, no one believes me, but I feel like, that my life could be threatened right now, and I'm trying my hardest to be, happy and accepting that, that I never made something big of myself, because in the end I feel like, well, at least other people didn't have to suffer for my vanity. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say, be okay with not indulging your vanity, and just try to enjoy what you can in life. And unfortunately, you're going to get effed up the ass by people who are as vain as they are. But just remember, that doesn't make them better people than you are.